Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of the Best and Worst series. Today we're going into ultra rares. Okay, so if you guys don't know, in this series I basically like to talk about the best and worst pictures of each RQ, and we've started with, I don't think we didn't do comments, right? No, it wouldn't be like myself to even cover the comments. So we started with the uncommons, the rares, the super rares, and now we're gonna jump into the ultra rare category. So without further ado, let's get into it. We are going to start off with RQ50. Now once again, if I agree with you, you will get a shout out in the bottom as well. So RQ50, I think that the best photo for the RQ50 ranks goes to the BMW 320d Touring. It is a very beautiful car, very clean photo, a car in motion, and the green scenery in the background, all that forestry, really, you know, contrasts itself with the red in the Ultra. I kind of like when that happens. Later on, when we get to the worst pictures in per RQ, I will show you when colors don't really match with each other, but this one does it very perfectly. Now, other cars which I think are really good for the RQ50, or, you know, other really good looking cars with the RQ50 ranks, and of course, as always, I'll take off my camera for this series, is the BMW Z8 as well as the Ford Flex 3.5. Both of them are really cool. Honestly, the Ford Flex probably would have won it if it was just cropped a little bit better, but the 320d Touring takes the cake in my opinion. Now, moving on to the worst RQ50. Now, there are two really bad RQ50 photos, so I decided to just put both of them in. Once again, shout out to Cyanix, man. Do check out his channel if you don't know where it is. Link in the description to his channel below. He makes really good looking cards. So, obviously, a worst RQ50 in my opinion is the Porsche 911 Carrera 2 Targa. Now, I know I just said forestry in the background is really nice, the green contrast with the red. Yes, same thing over here. But the main thing about, you know, each photo is the car. The car is always the star of the show. And right now, I can't see the front. I can't see the back. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this picture is intentionally supposed to be bad. There's no way that so perfectly the tail light is covered by the B in the Ultra. It's just ever inch so perfect that you can't see the tail light. It's crazy, dude. Can't see the front, can't see the back. I just see two wheels and a door. That's it. So, and you know, it's extra points, or I guess it's extra negative points if the car in question that is being blocked out of view is also a very good looking car. And the Porsche 911, in my opinion, is and always has been a very good looking car. So it's a bit of a shame. So obviously Cyanix made a better version, a car in motion. You can see the entire thing, but the car that he chose, I would say, is quite interesting, because I feel like where the direction where the game is headed right now, I feel like this would end up being a completely different car. You know, this would end up being a prize car, Porsche 911 Carrera 2 Targa Police Edition or whatever. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's still the same car, so it's a way better photo. Now, like I said, it's tied because I felt that the Porsche was the worst RQ50, but I was looking at the comments on the Super Rare video, because in the Super Rare video I asked you to comment what you thought were the best and worst ultra rare video pictures, and as always, guys, for this video, comment down below what you think are the best and worst epic pictures. And so many people were talking about the RX-7 Spirit R, you know, it being the wrong car, it being the wrong spec, how it should only come in this like metallic gray, and I think one person, he really spilled his heart out in the comments, and that's Biava, if I'm saying that correctly, 13. According to him, he's a huge, you know, RX-7, you know, fanboy, and just everything about the Spirit R photo in the game was just wrong and sacrilegious. And, you know, outside of that, it is a bad photo anyway. The white on white, you know, it just doesn't really fit. The angle isn't really good. If it was zoomed out a little bit more, I would have no issues with it. But the main thing that, you know, Biava said was that he wanted the car in the right color. And so I told Cyanix to get the car in the right color, so I do hope that we actually hit that correctly. Alright, moving on to RQ51, the worst, not sorry the worst, but the best. The best photo, in my opinion, goes to the Morgan Plus 4. Very clean photo. I love everything about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, looks like BRG to me. British Racing grain on that car. I love the spec. It's just a really good photo. It's in motion. The background is nice. Very clean photo. Now, other RQ51s, which I believe have very nice pictures, would be the Nissan 370Z and the Alpha 159. Now, moving on to the worst RQ51 photo in the game goes to the Lamborghini Miura S. So, like I said, there are some cards where there are just too many colors. It just doesn't blend in, and it doesn't like contrast with each other. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. it gives me a headache. And looking at the Miura S genuinely gives me a headache. There's just too much for my little brain to comprehend in terms of colors, and they don't fit. I mean, what is that? That's white, black, gray, green, silver, purple, like a dark purple, just shades of purple. I don't like it. It doesn't fit. I mean, honestly, purple and green, they can go well together, and there's yellow in the photo. There's yellow in the front as well. There are just too many photos in there, too many colors in there. It actually gives me a headache. And not to mention, the elephant in the room, the crop of the card is not very good. I can only see one headlight, and that's about it. But I hate the colors. There's too much going on, and it doesn't fit. You either stick with green, black, and red, or green, black, and just purple. Too much here. It's like this part of the card feels like Christmas because it's green and red. This part of the card feels like Beast Boy from Teen Titans because it's green and purple. It's too much. I don't like it. But obviously, Cyanix had a much better photo. Blue and red goes really well together. You get to see the entire car, and it's doing the Miura S more justice. Now, moving on to RQ52, the best photo in my opinion goes to the Mercedes-Benz C111-2. Everything about it is just perfect. Obviously, some of these newer photos from the newer updates, they're always going to hit it from the head. But shout out to an OG car in the BMW 640D. If it wasn't for the Ford and the Mercedes, I'm pretty sure that BMW would still be the best. Kicking up dirt in the background, nice crop car in motion, everything about it just beautiful. And also, shout out to the Ford FPV. I really like it. It's a sick photo. The blue, like the Thomas the Tank background, as I like to call it, because it's a blue train. Really nice photo, really nice angle, just a really clean photo. Now, moving on to the worst RQ52 in my opinion is the Aero event. Now, very simple over here. Same photo, just cropped better. And I've said so many times, guys, like, the quality of the photo truly dictates like how much I want to collect a car or not. If a car has a really bad photo, chances are I'm not too motivated to keep it into my garage because it doesn't look very good, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just so simple to see what a small change can do to a car. Some people might not have ever seen what the actual Aerovet looks like, people that may not be fans of American cars, so they don't take the extra initiative to go and search up Chevrolet Aerovet on Google to see what the front actually looks like. So obviously in the game you don't know what the front of the Aerovet looks like, but what a small change can do, and you can see the entire thing with the revised photo. Now, moving on to RQ53, the best photo in my opinion is the Mercedes 6x6. It is a car in motion, and I mean, honestly, it's such a massive car, but the entire thing could fit in the frame, which is really cool. Honestly, I love this car, and the photos is one of the reasons why I actually kept it around when it used to be an Epic. Because let's be honest, when this was an Epic, this was such an easy, fuse for a lot of players. But for me, I love Mercedes. This has a beautiful photo. I just told myself, yes, I have to keep it no matter what. So even the Ultra Rare that I have in the game right now, it has that Epic token. I'm not going to fuse it away. So I really like it. Other 53s, which I thought were really, really cool. The Abarth 695 Viposto R and the Porsche 904 Carrera GTS. Now, moving to the worst RQ53 in my opinion is the Cadillac ESV. Now, the Cadillac ESV, the photo that it has in the game, honestly, isn't even that bad. It's just that when you look at 53 RQ cars in the game, not a lot of them are actually that bad. They're all actually pretty clean photos, so I'll give props to Hutch for that. But obviously, there's always room for improvement. And yes, the photo that Cyanix chose is just so much nicer. At the end of the day, the Cadillac Escalade, in my opinion, is a really good looking car. And if you can see the entire thing, it's just so much better. And it's just really, really clean. Moving on now, RQ54, the best photo in my opinion is the Honda NSX, and this has been one of the best photos ever. I remember back in the day, back in like 2018, like 5 years ago, I made a series of the top 10 best ultra rare photos in the entire game, just top 10 across every RQ, and the Honda NSX, I'm pretty sure, was not only in that top 10, but I think in that top 5. It's a clean photo. I love it. The lens flares, everything about it is just so 90s. It's amazing. But also shout out to the Baja Turbo and the TDI Quattro, making the list as well. Now, moving on, the worst RQ54 in my opinion is the Aston Martin Vantage. Once again, just can't really see the car, man. You're not doing the car as much justice as it deserves. And obviously, the photo that Cyanix chose is just so much cooler. It's actually very reminiscent of the, I believe it's a Suburban photo. From the Lock to Lock one, the Holden Suburban. I think it's pretty similar. I think they have the same kind of like canyon background, I believe. One of the cars in the game, or is it the Hummer? I think it's the Hummer actually, but yeah, it's really similar. But yeah, just a nice little position change, and obviously it's a different car in general, but it's really nice. Moving on now, RQ55 best photo in my opinion, Mercedes SLS AMG. Also shout outs to the BMW X3 xDrive as well as the Honda Civic Type R. But in my opinion, once again, my personal opinion, but obviously a little extra bias because it is indeed a Mercedes Benz. I love Mercedes and I love the SL55 from the 2000s. So I just think it's a really good looking photo. It's really clean. And it's just a better looking car compared to the BMW X3 xDrive. So although that the X3 probably has a better background, the Mercedes is just a better car, and at the end of the day, the main star of each car photo is obviously the car itself. Moving on to RQ55, the worst photo in my opinion is the Porsche Cayman. Background is boring, you can't see the entire car, and obviously the revised photo that Cyanix chose is just a lot better. It's in motion, the angle's pretty cool, and I get to see more of the car. Moving on to RQ56, best photo in my opinion, the Forenza Old Nail. This is an interesting one. Not a lot of cars has this kind of photo where the angle is kind of going down. There are a lot of photos where the angle of the car is going up, kind of facing, I guess, northeast. I think that's east. Yeah, northeast. But this is kind of like southeast, facing, which is pretty cool. So I do like it. It fits very well, and it's just really cool to see, a motorsport car on the track like that. Shout out to the TVR Chimera. I don't know why. I feel like I've been there, wherever the photo was taking place. It just feels very familiar to me, but it's really cool. And the Mercedes X350D, really nice photo on that as well. Now, moving on to the worst RQ56 in my opinion is the Volvo XC90 V8 as agreed with Random Tuner. Really a horrible photo, bad background, can't see the back of the car or the front of the car, and the photo that Cyanix chose is just so much better, man. You get to see the entire thing, but I am a sucker for two things. There are two things that I guess you can say that are turn-ons for me when it comes to Top Drive's car photos. Number one is snow. Number two, Japanese car plates. Those two are turn-ons for me. So yeah, this one's in the snow. That's really nice. But yeah, Japanese car plates hit different, dude. They're so sexy. All right. Some people might find that weird. Okay, some people. But anyway, moving on. RQ57. The Nissan 370Z Nismo is the best photo in my opinion. I love it, dude. The angle is super cool. It looks like it's drifting almost. It's sick. Shout out to the Ford Mustang GT as well as the Range Rover Velar for being just incredibly unique and also so well cropped. So that's why I gave those two honorable mentions. But the best in my opinion is that 370Z Nismo. It was my favorite photo from JPT and it still is. So really cool. Worst 57 is going to be the Lotus Esprit S4. Probably one of the worst photos in the game. Not only can you not see the front or the back, this is one of the most low-res photos in the entire game. It looks like it's 144p. Look at how blurry it is, dude. Like, especially on top of the hood of the Esprit. It's disgusting. It's sad as well, because at the same time, this photo kind of has the same, what's the word I'm looking for? It serves the same crime of doing disjustice to a very beautiful car. Is disjustice even a word, or is it unjust? It's injustice, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, Cyanix just chose a way better photo, dude. HD, get to see the entire thing. Good color, good background, very clean. Moving on to 58, best picture in my opinion, the Lotus Exige S2. Shout out to the Aston Martin DB9 and the GMC Yukon. All of these cars share the same energy. They're all in motion, they're all kind of tilted, and the backgrounds are literally all very, very, very similar. And the only reason why the Exige is the best one, in my opinion, is because you get to see the entire thing. It's just the best cropped. Now, the worst RQ58, I believe, is indeed, yes, the Lotus. So best goes to a Lotus, worst goes to a Lotus, is the Carlton. The Carlton is a really beautiful car, but not a lot of people will know it's a saloon from the photo in Top Drives. Because of this photo, I literally thought that the Lotus Carlton was like an estate or maybe even a hatchback. It just doesn't look like a saloon in this photo. It's really misleading. So the photo that Cyanix chose is just so much better. You get to see that, oh wow, it is actually a saloon, and it looks so much better. The thing is, right, the picture that Top Drives chose is like, you know when you take a selfie but it's the bad angle? That is the bad angle. That makes the Lotus Carlton look like a really ugly car. But this over here, the picture that Cyanix chose, is the good angle. It's the best angle. And that background, oh my days, that is really, really sexy. Okay, moving on now. RQ59, best photo, BMW 840i Grand Coupe. Runner-ups goes to the TVR Tamora as well as the Ford FPV F6. Now, why did I choose the 840i over the TVR Tamora? Mainly the background. I like the fall, and it looks like it was taken in the fall, so that's pretty nice. Also, the BMW has black rims. Sexy. Okay, worst 59 in my opinion, without a doubt, is the Roof 3400S. It's a disgusting photo. It makes the car look so big and so fat. I hate it. And yeah, obviously the photo that Cyanix chose, he obviously knows that I'm going to like it because of the fried egg headlights, and he's not wrong. It's very, very nice. So, way better photo than the one in the game, but I think the roof is just disgusting. Moving on to RQ60, best photo in my opinion, the Renault Sport Megane 275 Trophy. I just love the angle. I think I've said this a few times. It feels like this car is kind of like on the news, like a fugitive is running away from the cops, and this is kind of like, you know, the what is it, like the news helicopter, you know, the taking footage of the runaway or the getaway car. Like, it's really, really cool. And also the spec, black on black, really, really nice. Talking about black on black though, the BMW 520d X-Drive Touring also has that positive. It's a really, really good looking photo. And of course, honorable mentions to the Chrysler 300 Glacier Edition. I'm a sucker for snow pics, you know how it is. Worst 60 in my opinion, the BMW 330d. Once again, this is just a great example of how, you know, zooming out can do a car so much justice. I mean, the 330d is so in your face, you know, the photo from Top Drives, it's so in your face, and I just feel like there's more room to breathe in the photo that Cyanix has chosen, and the car just looks nicer because of that. Now, moving on to RQ61, the best photo in my opinion, as agreed with Random Tuner, is the Holden Commodore, because the red on the red makes a lot of sense. I mean, honestly, like I said over here, right, RQ61, the best photos is the color red, but the Commodore is the best of the bunch. The red on red fits really, really well. The background is beautiful. You can see the lens flare from the sunrise, I think. It's just really, really clean. Shouts out goes to the Lamborghini Countach 25th anniversary and the BMW Z4 M40i as well. Moving on, the worst 61 in my opinion is the Acura ZDX. Now, the funny thing about this photo is I'm pretty sure that both of these photos were probably taken in the same photo shoot. It looks like they were in the same location, but Hutch decided to choose the worst photo, interestingly enough. But yeah, ZDX, minor changes, looks like the same car, but one is just a clearly better photo. Moving on, the worst 60, oh sorry, that was the worst, yeah, that was the worst, never mind. Okay, the best 62 is the Alfa Romeo Alfetta. What did I put? Alfa 159 Alfetta. I mean, that's a really beautiful photo. Is that a lion in the background? Whatever that animal is, just adds that, you know, further curiosity to the energy of the photo. I love it. It's really, really beautiful. It's a good looking car as well, even though it does look like a red hot chili pepper, but it is nice. I love the angle. Shouts out go to the Mini Cooper Works as well as the GMC Sierra All-Terrain X. Both of them very, very clean photos as well. Moving on to the worst 62 in my opinion, and honestly one of the worst photos in the entire game. It's the Porsche 911 Turbo. Seriously, one of the worst photos in the game. Yes, you can see the tail light in this one, but once again, you can't see the front. You can't even see two wheels. I see 1.5 wheels and a door. And the background, incredibly boring as well. This car is probably the utmost ultra rare that needs a picture change. It's just so bad right now. So the 911 Turbo that Cyanix chose, obviously just so much better. I love the black and the yellow. It fits so well. I think he couldn't have chosen a better picture for that, one of his best work. Moving on to RQ63, best photo in my opinion, the Zenith E10. Now, I know that there is no background to the photo, but it's very minimalistic and it's very, very clean. I get to see the entire thing. I like the angle, the black, the red, and the white. There are only 3 colors. I mean, technically there's like gray and stuff, but it works really, really well. I actually, it reminds me of Deadpool almost. But it's a really, really clean photo. Shout out goes to the BMW 530e Saloon as well as the Aston Martin Virage. Moving on to the worst 63 in my opinion, another Porsche, sadly, 911 Carrera 4. Now, 2 things about the photo. Obviously, it's cropped really bad. The background is really boring. But one thing I never liked about the Carrera 4 are the rims. I think that the rims are really, really ugly. I don't know why. They look very cheap. And one way to kind of take attention off the ugly rims is to give your car a moving shot, basically, so you can't really see it when the rims are in motion, you know what I mean? But yeah, the Carrera 4 photo that Cyanix chose is just so much better. Nice background, you can see the entire car, and I'm saved from seeing those ugly rims. Once again, it's a personal thing, but I do not like how those rims look. I find them so cheap looking for a Porsche. Now, last but not least, we end off with the 64. The best 64 in my opinion, a brand new one, is the Ford Fairlane. I mean, lo and behold, it's a standard tire car in the wet. It makes sense, and I love it for that. The angle is cool. I get to see the entire thing as well. Shouts out to 2 other really good 64 RQ cars in the Alpha 4C Spider and the Nissan Skyline GTR. All very strong contenders, but the thing that really seals it for me on that Ford Fairlane is the fact that it makes sense. It's a car in the wet and it has standard tires. It just makes sense, and I love it for that. And last but not least, the worst 64 in my opinion goes to another standard tire car in the Maybach 57S. Once again, can't see the front, can't see the back. It just has that disease of only seeing a light and a wheel. And obviously the card that Cyanix chose is just so much better. Also, I just love how in that photo the chrome grille is highlighted so much more. It kind of showcases the fact that the Maybach is a car of just pure opulence. So anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. That is today's episode of the best and worst for the ultra rare category. So once again guys, let me know down in the comments below what you think are the best and worst photos for the epic ranks. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold